I'm finally back, and I need to say sorry, it's been kind of peak these past few days. My PC hasn't been running too well, so it's been hard to get out these videos. It's been kind of impossible in that sense. So I have figured out a short-term solution until I get this computer fully sorted out. So apologies for the delay, your boy's back now. And in today's video, I will be talking about all the news surrounding Frank Lampard. I'm going to be talking about the latest reports that have come out today. I'll speak about some major news stories that came out last night as well. And I will be talking about Juan Castillo and his contract U-turn. But before I get into anything, you guys, smash that like button. Help me get more than 1,000 likes for today's video. Don't forget to press the bell notification button either. And in the cards above, there will be recommended videos for you guys. So if you want more Blue Lines TV, I got you guys sorted. Now for today's video, I will be focusing mainly on Frank Lampard. So to get the other news story out the way first, I will be talking about the news surrounding Juan Castillo. Now, if you guys remember in my 7 reasons why Frank Lampard needs to be the next Chelsea manager to replace Sarri, I spoke about a hypothetical situation where Juan Castillo could make a U-turn, he could stay due to the confidence instilled from the appointment of Frank Lampard. Well, it looks like that theory isn't one anymore, it's become a reality, and it's even looking like Castillo could be signing a new deal later today. So it's very exciting, and it's great to know that we have instilled some new hope in a very top class young player, I have to say. You know, Juan Castillo is able to operate as a wing back, play as a full back, play on the left wing as well. And for the Dutch national team, he actually plays as a cam. So he's very similar in regards to Jay Da Silva. We had a very similar development structure and process given to him. And it really just proves that, wow. And for me, it's always been a case of let's turn to what we produce, because we produce the modern day fullbacks you need today. You know, they're able to help them in field, they're good in possession. They're able to have that ability where you can leave them isolated by themselves, because they're good enough to maintain the ball and continue the attack themselves. Now for me, whenever I look at Juan Castillo, he kind of gives me those Marcelo vibes, you know, very good technically, really expresses himself on the ball as well, able to beat a man with some great skill, and his delivery is on point as well. Now the only question left now is Castillo going to be confirmed for the team for next season? And I still think that maybe it's too early to tell right now. I do think that pre-season will be a big factor in letting us know whether he will be here for next season. But even if that wasn't the case, even if he wasn't part of the first team squad, would a loan move be the worst case scenario? And I don't think so anymore. And that's purely down to the fact that Lampard and Morris create that link for the academy and the first team. And when you know that there is a link available at this club, when you know that you've got your former coaches, we have the higher positions as well. When you know that link is at the club, it gives you that confidence. Even if Castillo did leave on loan, he knows that if he performs well, which is the important thing, his performances will be taken seriously, and if they're good enough, he could have a place in the squad for next season. Now, that's me being hypothetical. I'm not saying that Castillo is definitely going out on loan. I'm saying that that could be a possibility for all we know. And if that did happen, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's not going to be like previous scenarios with our other top youth players, because now we have Morris and now we have Lampard. In the comment section below, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Are you excited by Castillo? Would you like to see him part of the squad? Or would you prefer him to be out on loan to get more game time, more experience, and to come back more developed to try and get a place for the following season? From now on, I will be dedicating the rest of this video to Frank Lampard because there's been so much news that's come out over the past 48 hours. I'll be breaking down the Frank Lampard news into 3 segments. The first segment, I will be talking about the contract details and, stuff happening behind the deal. For the second segment, I'll be talking about news I'm hearing in regards to who could be part of his coaching staff for next season. And to end things, I'll be talking about Matt Law's recent report where he's talking about how the board will be giving Frank Lampard time and patience to get things running at this club, which is very exciting news. Now, starting with the first segment, Derby last night finally gave permission for Lampard to speak to us. Since then, if you're wondering why this deal has stalled in a sense, Lampard has been on holiday. He is a human being. He's had a very intense season with Derby, so it makes sense that he does want to have some time to, spend time with his kids, his family, etc, etc. Beside me is the official statement released by Derby County. Yeah, you heard it right, Derby County and not Derby City. I don't know why I keep making that mistake. Now, when it comes to Derby, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, they have their own preparations they need to make. They need to hire a new manager, which obviously makes sense because how can they sign players and tell them what's going to happen for next season if they haven't secured a manager yet? When it comes to the deal, reports are coming out stating that we're happy to pay the $4 million compensation fee, which is good to hear. Lampard will be signing a 3-year contract as well, and he will be earning up to $4 million per season. Now, depending on how Frank Lampard performs, he could potentially get a pay rise for the following season. And there's more news. When it comes to the compensation fee, I just said that the club are happy to fully pay it. However, Derby are happy to negotiate, and that's due to the fact that they would like to continue that relationship between both clubs where they continue to have some of our best young players to help them during the season. And this is exciting to hear. For so long now, I've always hoped that we continue to invest in feeder clubs to hire more so we're able to give a platform to our best young players, and for so long that just hasn't been the case. And this is fantastic news because it's great to know that Derby are happy to continue this relationship, and it's only going to be a great platform for some of our young players to continue their football development. There's more reason as to why Derby are happy to negotiate, and that's due to the fact that, when you consider that we pay the compensation fee for Lampard, Morris and Chris aren't included in that deal. So we'd have to pay extra to sign these two guys to become part of Lampard's team. And as I keep saying, this is great news. Now, moving on to the second segment, I'll be breaking down and talking about the coaches that could form Lampard's team for next season. And I want to start with the first one, and that's Michael Ballack. There's been so many reports that have come out over the past 48 hours. There was an article released by German Sky Sports where they spoke about the possibility of Ballack even being the assistant manager to Frank Lampard. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that's not going to be happening. There are no plans for Ballack to come back to take up any coaching role. You have to consider he's only doing his coaching badges now. And the second reason is the fact that Lampard and Ballack aren't that close. Now, that's not me saying that they're enemies or they don't get along or they have issues. It happens in life. You have like your close group of friends, then you have acquaintances. And Lampard and Ballack are more acquaintances than friends. Now, that doesn't mean that Ballack might not get a future role at this club, but currently, nothing's in the works right now. Lampard does want Edwards to form part of his first team coaching staff. Lampard also wants Andy Myers, the guy that was on loan at Vitesse, the coach that passed his UEFA Pro license yesterday. Lampard wants him as part of the first team coaching staff. However, the club have different plans. They prefer him to take over from Joe Edwards' previous role now that he will be becoming part of the first team coaching staff. And when it comes to the conclusion, I don't know right now. I'm hoping that in the next few days I will find out, and of course I'll let you guys know straight away. When it comes to Eddie Newton, Lampard doesn't want him as part of his first team staff, even though the club would prefer him to become part of the new staff. And Frank Lampard also doesn't want Zola as part of his first team coaching staff. Again, that's not me implying that there's any issues. It's business, it's life. I mean, the guy's entitled to have whoever he wants to form part of his staff. Zola has rejected an ambassadorial role at the club. We don't know what's going to happen to him right now, but it's believed that he could be given a new role created for him by the club. Now, moving on to the final segment, this is coming to you guys from Matt Law, and he came out today to state and report that the club have understood that yes, Lampard does need to be given time due to the unique circumstances from the transfer ban, as well as working with a younger squad for next season, and also due to the fact that he is an ex-legend, a former player. The fans have great respect for him. He's one of the all-time greats, so it would be very hard for the club to end up sacking Lampard and to not expect any backlash from the fans. It is great to know that the club have given Lampard those assurances. There's one stipulation though, and that's the fact that we do need to avoid relegation, which for me isn't going to be so hard. And I'm going to give my brief conclusion before I wrap up today's video. And I want to say one thing. If you've been a doubter in regards to whether the club will fully back Frank Lampard, well, today you finally got your answers. I've been saying for such a long time now, there's reasons for next season why we need to be optimistic, because the club have finally woken up. They finally understood everything that they have, everything that needs to happen in the future, and what's the most efficient way for this club to grow and develop footballing wise. If Lampard's appointment, if Petr Cech's arrival wasn't proof, 100% proof that this club, this board, do really want to revamp the structures, they do want to grow, they do want to improve, then I don't know what's going to tell you that. I really don't. For so many years, this is the direction that so many of us have wanted to see for so many years. And there's been this recent skepticism from fans, which I'm not agreeing with. It's so cynical, it's so negative. And for me, it really just proves that you don't understand any of the young players that we produce at this club. You've never been invested in the academy. You've never even seen these guys play. And for next season, a lot of people will get that education that I personally feel a lot of people have needed. But anyway, you guys, Frank Lampard will be announced soon. The good times are coming. I'm going to keep it moving. Thank you for watching. Hopefully now my schedule will get better. I'm hoping that this computer will be better now when it gets fixed. So apologies for that. It's been so stressful recently, but I'm going to keep things moving. Thank you for watching. The only thing we need to wait for is for Lampard to be officially announced, which should happen later this week. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV, signing out.